Hello, hello. Welcome, my tidy up friends. How are you today? Welcome. It is Tuesday, and Gina's here. Sue, welcome. Carla, Mary B, Susan, Lorraine. So good to see you guys here today. And Susan's here, Judy, Linda. Oh, so nice to see you guys. So we are wrapping up today this little mini series that's all about getting our kids organized, just kind of talking through this process because there are so many choices we can make when we decide to tackle our kids, right? Like there's just so many ways of going about this. And so today I thought it might be just kind of fun to answer some more questions as we're wrapping up. We've gone through a lot of different steps to get to the point where we can actually create some pages in the album, in my son's album. So if you're new here, just I want to say a big welcome. These are places that you can find me all around, and both at with Creative Memories, on my own website, on Facebook, on YouTube. There's just on Instagram. There's just all the places. So it's really good to see all of you guys. Oh, and Terry's here. Mina, Amy, Keisha, hello, Pam V. I love it. Pam is the one who shared those awesome pictures with us last week of the memorabilia wall. A lot of people really liked that, Pam. So thank you for sharing that with me so I could share that with others. And Sherry's here, Lorena. It's so good to see you guys. So we are going to, as promised, we're going to just kind of talk a little bit more about the kid where we've been, how we organize our kids, and then, choices we can make to put their life together, their history together. So I'm going to switch on over to my overhead and shout out if you have questions in this process. And, in full disclosure, I've had a super busy week, but the great thing is, and so I'm kind of prepared today, but the reason I'm prepared today is because we've taken all these steps in the process to get to the point where I've made some decisions on what I want to include in Adam's book and where it's going to go and what that album's going to look like. Keeping in mind for me, one of the important factors, which is I want to keep this manageable for him. Now, I also just kind of want to mention in this process, there's a couple other resources, if you're not quite sure. So we've talked a lot about what does this look like? What does your kid's album look like? And I think that's your own personal choice, right? So do how much memorabilia do you want to put in here? How many photos do you want to put? How many photos do you have? How much memorabilia do you have? And what are the stories you have to tell? And, all of those different things. But I wanted to also mention a couple resources. So I know that Noreen has, and someone mentioned this, Noreen has like a little, I think she did a video for Creative Memories on like how to use a plan for like each year you're going to put in I think it was an 8x10 or 8.5x11 size page, and then a page, a multi-pocket page, and then, so on and so forth. So she kind of had a plan. If you want to kind of make that just a super, super simple project, I would recommend you watch her video. And I think that the idea was inspired because Stacy Julian also has what she calls kind of a highlight reel approach for her kids' albums. And so I've kind of taken bits and pieces of both of those, but really in the fact to kind of help me manage how many of these squares I want to fill up for my kids' albums, right? And so in the past, I think I've mentioned this before, where I might have said, oh, okay, I'm going to have a 2-page spread of Valentine's Day. Oh, here's some more photos. I'm going to have another 2-page spread here. I'm going to have another 2-page spread. So on and so on. I've really started looking at how much volume that's going to take up, and then instead make some decisions. And again, we've talked about how this was already done. So now I'm to the point where I've got some blank pages right here. I have some memorabilia that I already made a decision I wanted to keep. And then I have another blank page over here. So like I would have maybe in the past said, oh, this is all Valentine's Day. Maybe I do a whole spread, a 2-page spread on Valentine's Day and so on. But now I'm really looking more at curating. And that was one of Stacy's words she likes to use. And so I'm taking that cue from her, and she has a great video on it. You can just search for it on YouTube. Just search Stacy Julian school albums, and then there's some videos on that. And it's really, she calls it curating, and she calls it a highlight reel for your kids. So if you like that approach, it's even more simplistic than what I'm doing. But like I said, what I'm doing is taking that and going, how do I make, even within what, the way I like to scrapbook, how do I make my own highlight reel? And so I am really kind of letting go of the idea of everything has to be like all this whole thing has to be Valentine's Day. No, it doesn't have to be Valentine's. Yes, it's fun to do the product thing and, put in all of that. But it also takes up a lot more room, right, in our albums. And instead of me just going, okay, I guess what my big thing is, I'm really trying to move out of product-driven scrapbooking. Okay, listen to that. Product-driven scrapbooking, where before I would go, okay, these are wintry photos. Oh yeah, how many wintry photos? Okay, so then I've got winter scrapbook paper. Okay, I'm going to do this whole layout because I have winter scrapbook paper. That's product-driven. Nope. I'm really trying not to do that. Okay. Instead, I'm thinking, no, this is a highlight reel. So I'm going to have some photos. This I wanted to talk about. This is what his room looked like. And the funny thing is, I don't have a lot of pictures of his room. And, of course, he doesn't have this room anymore. We don't live in this house anymore. But I remember we were so excited to get these blackout curtains that had stars on it. And then we put up this little planet mobile in his room. And, and I thought, okay, yeah, and there was some, you can barely see a few of the things of how we had things up in his room. I want to remember that. I want him to remember that. That's definitely part of his story. Does it go with winter photos? No. So for me, I want to really focus on moving out of going, oh, I have to only use these photos because I have the right paper. And instead going, nope, I want to use all these photos because this is kind of a highlight reel for me. So in that process, I think the fun thing we can do especially with school pages, and I brought out some of the new school pack, is that we can just focus more on color. And that's kind of what I'm choosing to do. And we'll see how this works out. Okay. We'll see how this works out together. But let's focus on color and on, kind of just a variety instead of really going, oh, I want to be, have this product driven. So I looked through all the different school papers, and of course they have these really cute grade level Fast2Fab type pages. But then I got into, kind of the more decorative paper. And this one is the one that caught my eye because I feel like I could just use a little strip of this or something. And then it's going to tie in all of these pictures because, you know, there's not really a theme. There's not, you know, a common thing in here, but instead I can just go with some color and focus on the photos and focus on the story. So I hope that makes sense. And then we talked last week about how it's okay sometimes to have that memorabilia right in the center, and that is going to break up these two pages. So now I can have, you know, a lot of photos. My goal is, instead of just choosing to do a few with a theme, I want to pack these pages and get those cute pictures of him and the story down more so than, you know, just working with all that fun product, which is totally fun. And if that's your thing, go for it. You know, I'm just trying to talk you through my process. So anyhow, that's what I'm thinking. And welcome everybody who's just hopping on. So thank you for saying hello. Yudi's here. Nicole's here from over in Australia. Welcome. It's been a while since I've seen your name. Bonnie's here. Cindy, Shirley. So yes, exactly, Cindy. That's the video I was talking about. Oh, I think maybe she said Noreen did a video recently about the same thing. She said if she couldn't have all the collections, she would do cardstock and the tonal papers. Right, there you go. So, but she also did a video, I believe, a while back on when the school collection came out, on kind of a little mini plan on how to put those together. So again, working on the concept of highlight reels. So we're not, again, I'm focusing on getting the photos in. And I did go through my photo folders and I went through, let's see, what did I do? I did go back into my digital photos and I did go, oh yeah, there's some more that I haven't printed that I need to print. So I made a note of those. And then this is the one. Let's see, is this it? Outside? No, this is the next. That's another one. But what did I do? Oh, here. It was in my Valentine. So this is kind of early January, February Valentine's and those early miscellaneous photos that I have for these couple of pages. And then I realized that even though this is in April, there's a play that he did, but I only have 3 photos of that. And so this one I thought might be, again, since I'm not, I mean, I could put some fun things and say this is Valentine's Day, but then this would also be a good place to add in. I kind of have 3 photos here and 3 photos here. And I'm probably going to pick one of the better ones here. I'll trim these down, kind of see how that goes. But really, being okay with combining so that it's not just pages and pages. That's my goal. Okay, so I had gone through that. And then out of these photos, this whole thing, I picked the ones here and I picked the ones here that I wanted to capture in this album. So it's that whole, again, that whole process. Last week we narrowed it down. We put them in the photo folders. Now out of the photo folders, there's a few duplicates, which I left in there, but now I have, these are the photos that I, you know, at this point in time, I want to scrap. Okay, so how are we going to do that? We're going to do that super simply because, you know, if you see, there's a lot of just strips and this is just a very simple type of album. And I have some of these old school pages in here that helped kind of set the theme. And I think for the rest of this book, you know, I kind of just want to continue that. I might pull some of the older product back in, but let's bring some of the new stuff in too. So for this one, way too much for me. And again, I'm also working on the old pages. So this is, the base is not a true 12 by 12. So I'm just going to cut this down into a strip. And also because this has a story, I've also thought this is probably going to go into a peekaboo pocket. So always remember, we've got the option of peekaboo pockets to give us even that much more space. So actually, I think what I'm first going to do is grab my personal trimmer and then just do kind of a little trimming. So way back, I had these were developed, you know, when we had places to go walked in to get them developed, and they put the white border around it. But this, like this one, got a little damaged, so I'm going to trim this down. But I love his cute little hand holding up that leaf. So I think this looks like it might be a really good, maybe a 3.5, 3.5. I'm just going to trim a little bit. I'm trimming off the white. So if I trim off, yeah, it looks like we're going to go 3.5. 3.5 here. And we'll see where that might just end up going. But there's, you know, definitely a lot that needed to get trimmed out of that picture. Let's do that again on this one, since there's a lot of stuff in the background, but it's mostly just about him kind of running around with the frost on the ground. So I'm going to do that. 3.5. Let's see. And 3.5 here. And then 3.5. So I like always having maybe a couple, you know, that are the same size. That makes it easy to line things up, and it looks, you know, balanced and so forth. So we have those. Like I said, I'm probably going to put this in a peekaboo pocket so that I can tell the story about his room here. And maybe I'll do that there. And then this is another example. I had like different pictures of him painting in his scout uniform. It was fun. It was a fun thing. But it was just chalk paint. And so, do I need 3 pictures of him doing that? No, 1 is fine. This is a really cute picture because he was just finishing his name. And so I'm just going to use the 1. Okay, so I think this one actually might be a good candidate for another 3x3. So I hope, you know, it's just first getting that initial thought process going of, you know, what do we need to do? I want to make sure, let's see, let me trim this side off first, just the little bit of white, and then getting these as many as we can to tell multiple stories all on one page, right? That's the idea. So look at that. So from the idea of, you know, a bunch of photos, now I've got this really kind of in a manageable space. I have a lot. I'm still telling, the pictures look great. They're trimmed down. I may trim the white off this. We'll have to see. But now I kind of have a plan, and I can see how big of a strip I want to cut. Do I want to cut like a strip to go behind my 3.5 pictures, or do I want to cut a strip to go vertically so that I could highlight maybe this photo? So all these things, get your photos trimmed down, then we can figure that out. So let's get the 12-inch trimmer out. And I think actually I may just want to highlight, you know, with a vertical stripe pattern. Let's see how that looks. Or do we go this way with the paper going across? We kind of lose a lot of that. Actually, it's a really busy paper, and I like it. I think I'm going to bring in some solid cardstock in here, and maybe just use this as just a touch of a highlight. So maybe I'm just going to use this, you know, in an even smaller piece. So I think out of all these colors, the color I like, actually this is a fun one too, is this paper that reads a little more blue. So let's do that. And actually I think I'm going to change in my mind with you guys. Let me grab my blues. Let's see. And blue, blue, blue. This is marine blue. This is a nice blue. And let's get some blue in here. And then, yeah, I think I really like that. And then we're going to just highlight with this color paper. So it's not just so, you know, in your face, I guess is what I might call it. I'm going to make this a 4-inch strip. You'll see where I'm going. Here we go. 4-inch strip. And then I have to trim, because these are the old size pages, I have to trim just a ½ inch off the edge so that it will fit. Let's see, where am I? ½ inch. ½ inch is here. There we go. And now this can just go up here behind, and that solid color to me just is a little more calming on my page, and it gives me a chance to focus more on the photos. Okay, so we have these, then we have this, and this is where I will probably now think about this color. Okay. And how much of this do I want to add in? I think I just want a little touch of it. So what I'm going to do is go to a 6.5 inch strip here. And then we're going to trim this down so that we're just going to have kind of a block of this pattern behind this photo. So I'm going to do 6.5. I think I'll do maybe a 5.5, just a little bigger, just to give a little more color to show. And now I've got kind of this background, very simple. I have room for my peekaboo pocket to go on here. And then I still have some space over here. Adding in that color, adding, and I have a lot of this paper left over. And then still having a space in here to do some fun decorating, right? So I can get my stickers out, my embellishments out, and do that and have some fun with that. So since I did not put this photo behind paper, I'm going to go ahead and trim the white off of it, just to give it a cleaner edge so it's not like a white background on a white background. Okay, there we go. So really, that's as simple as I want to keep my kids' pages, because if I go, and like I said, I'm going to add some, little things like that. But if we spend too much, if we go all out on every single page, my thing is I'm never going to finish, because I have too many photos, too many kids, too many years to get caught up on. So my goal is really just get this in here in some basic, really going back to basics, which is blocks of color. These are my, scrapbooking basics, blocks of color. And I'm just going to add these in. Embellish with purpose. You guys have heard me snap to grid. All those fun things, right? Okay. Let me see if you have any questions. And so as I'm just kind of making this happen, not that you have questions on this process because it's pretty simple, but in the whole process of getting our kids organized, what have you found helpful? How have you decided to make, your pages happen for your kids? In fact, I think I might even swap this. I like the color up top, and then have this down here. I like that. And then it gives me almost a little, I can even move this down here and almost like a little fun place to put a title right up there, like that. Okay, so I'm going to just get these in. And as we've been talking these last, 5-10 minutes, pretty much have a page done in my son's book. Let me get this in here. And so sometimes we don't have to go, top to bottom, side to side. I mean, it really doesn't always have to be that way. Get this photo in. Whoops, didn't stick. Okay. Hello, hello. You're not too late, Susan. It's okay. And Sherry says she uses her shortcuts for her kids' highlight pages. Yeah, exactly. Just quick and easy and fast, right? Carrie's here. Cindy's here. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Let me know, guys. Yay, I'm live. You're here live. Yay. All right. Let me find my Peekaboo Pockets. And hello, hello, hello. Everybody's just still hopping on. It's so good to see you guys. Patty, Kelly, Kim, Susan, Diane, Nixa, Leah. Woohoo. Patty. Oh, good to see you guys. Okay, so I'm going to put, this was, I don't know, his teacher had this. At some point, I probably would have wanted to scan that. I don't have a copy of this. I'm just going to pop it in for now until I get around to doing that. But there's some really weird something on the back of this. I don't know who, like maybe they put it on construction paper or something, right? And then that's going to go down, and then this room picture is going to go here, or maybe I'll do the room picture here and then put the story. So now that I'm looking at these, I'm kind of thinking the card that's going to go under here is going to actually tell a story about a lot of these photos. So, Adam, this is your first grade. These are some of your first grade photos. This was a day that we could remember where we had frost on the grass. This doesn't happen very much here in Southern California. And you were so excited to go find leaves and different things in the yard that had, clusters of ice and frost on them, and you gathered them together. And another day, there was a picture of you that your teacher took, and doing your name. So like blah blah blah. Put all of that in a little paragraph. And that might be something, since there's a lot to say, it gets typed up and then put on a card that then you flip up and you can see it here. Okay, so does that make sense? Kind of how that's going to go. So I've got my back to school little pouch here, so we can kind of flip through. That's so cute. Time to study. A little journal card. Let's see if there's one in here that might work for that. Kind of might just do, oh, this one's really cute. I love just the plain lines. Or, I could always just use a dot grid card and then, print it out. Some of these are a lot more decorative. That one might work. If I printed it, I'd have to print it and write out, type that up and then pop that in there. So that's kind of cute, like that in there. And then, as I mentioned, we've got, now all the fun things we can add and just put a little fun to the page, whether it's embellishments or stickers and so forth. So any questions as we're going through? Okay. This one's cute. It says memories, teacher, all these fun things. I have duplicates of this open, don't I? Oh yeah. I kind of like the memories one. Yep. Cute. Okay. So anyone else? What are you working? Are you working on some of your kids' albums, or what are the things you are spending your time doing? Just give me some notes in the chat. Love to hear. So I think I'm going to bring in a layering shape. And I love this little memories because I'm just here playing, guys. this is the create day, so I get to play. I saw something else. Oh, I like this. Need to have that M on top there. There we go. So still love a place to put things. I love having my layering shapes always at the ready, so I can just grab them. And now I've got, kind of that home to ground my embellishments or stickers or whatever I'm going to use. So let me go ahead and put this peekaboo pocket in place. Have you guys been working on your memorabilia? If you're working on your kids, tell me you've been practicing making the choices to make your memorabilia special, right? We're making our memorabilia because too much special is really not so special. So I'm just going to pop this in with some repo adhesive just to hold it in place. And I'll probably, like I said, enough to talk about with these photos that I'm going to have to type that up. Okay, pop this in here. I'll use some repo in case I need to move it. Okay. There we go. And I feel like I need my little third thing. I like the stars are really cute. Stars, airplanes. I don't know what's fun. But that's cute. The little airplane's cute. So I'm going to grab my foam squares. All right. Sue says she is just starting on her kids' albums. Okay. I'm still getting the pics sorted. Thanks for some great ideas on how to do that. Oh, good. Yeah, it's the whole, let's talk about decision making, right, you guys? Sometimes decision making, we get fatigue. There's a lot of fatigue in that. So a process, anything that kind of helps us make that a little bit easier, I think gives us that little break on having to make so many decisions all the time, because we're making decisions: what to keep, the memorabilia, where to put it on the page, what product to use, right? So many decisions. So any help we can get, I know, is definitely something we want to do. Okay, so let me look. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys you're chatting away. I love my chat. But this is the simple version. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be, super fancy. That's it. While we were sitting here, I finished this page. I'll add a flop stopper so that, that stays down when I turn the page. I'll add my journaling. And basically, this side is done. And so I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos, different time zones, but yet the colors are kind of the common theme in there to keep that together. Okay. Pocket goes on protector. Oh, yes. Yeah. We can, I know, sometimes the pocket, we can put it on the page or on the protector. And sometimes what I like to do is actually stick it on the page and then put a slit in my protector so that it doesn't flop with the protector, with the page protector. And if you've ever done that, you know what I mean. I have a lot of different tips and things on using peekaboo pockets, but that's kind of one of my favorite things. Since this is a really a lot of going on in this, it's heavy and different things. I'm going to probably end up putting a lot of my peekaboo pockets directly on the page, either on the sides or on the page and then make a little slit. So, okay. Thank you for the reminder though. Yeah. Sue says she's just starting. Oh yeah, we've talked about, and Amy is currently working on getting her 2018 Israel trip in an album. Ooh, that's so fun. Travel is always fun to work on. Ooh, I love it. Okay. Gina's finishing high school for her son who is 36. Yay! See, celebrate where you are. I think that's so important. You know, we just do what we can when we can, and then, you know, one day at a time, and then look what happens. As I've been chatting here with you, I finished a page, might get this page over here finished as well. And, you know, we'll just keep working. Okay. And Sherry says she's working on her 36-year. So we've got a lot. Gina and Sherry, both of your kids are 36. How about that? And Diane says she's not even sure how she's going to do her own kids right now. She's concentrating on the grandkids. And maybe that just has to sit and percolate a little bit, Diane, right? And just kind of let it happen. Let it, you know, work on those grandkids. That's current. And then maybe you definitely do a really, really simple album where it's just a highlight. I want to say that what Stacy focused on, she was saying was like a school picture. I was trying to remember. And then it was like first day of school, last day of school, holidays, and family photos. Like say that would be in a multi-pocket page. And then a few samples of artwork. And then she would call it like rinse and repeat. Do the same thing over for the next year and the next year and the next year. So really just making it as simple as you need it to be if you want to get those into albums. So yeah. And Sue says she has over 40 years of pics and memorabilia to process. So the idea of highlight reels for those pictures that are one and onlys. Yeah, exactly. Highlight pages. Exactly. That's what I have to keep telling myself too. Those, you know, make it a highlight reel. Get those special things in there, and then you can tell the story of the whole page, especially if you type that up. You can tell the story of the whole page all in one place. So I agree. So fun seeing what you guys are doing. Bobby's working on 2016 Clearwater Marine Aquarium, Florida, and 2017 family. Oh, I love it. And isn't it fun to be able to hop around and do different projects? I think, you know, that's what kind of Tidy Up started, was let's get ourselves organized so that we can find everything we need. And then we can hop around and have fun, do what we want to do, right? When we want to do it. Exactly. That's the whole goal. So let's see. Victoria says she's working on her grandson's pages and her granddaughter's pages. Her granddaughter, and she is due at the beginning of January. How fun. Oh, how fun. Brand new baby. Love it. Yeah. And Sue says, you know, do those grandkids first. A good idea. Okay. Linda is working on, oh, your daughter. I'm so sorry to hear your daughter passed away in 2019. That has to be tough. She left behind 2 boys, and she's making 2 albums, one for each of them. It's been hard to do. Oh, I am sure. So we know we need to give you big hugs out there, Linda, as you work through that. But what an absolute gift that will be for them. And hopefully very therapeutic for you in the process. So yeah, big hugs, Linda. That's a tough one, but ooh, definitely worth it to do. Good luck with that. Sue says she has a question. Just received one of those albums. Are there page protectors for that type of album? Oh, for this one. Yeah, absolutely. So they usually come, if you buy the refill pages, you'll get a pack in with your album like this of the page protectors. And just a tip, I know I've said this, you know, different times throughout the years, but if you need page protectors for this old style album, this is the Premier. So if you measured, it's actually 11.5 inches from inside jeeping to inside jeeping, whereas now our pages are 12 inches inside jeeping to inside jeeping. But all you need to do for the page protectors is, let me show you one that's open here. Grab, where did I put those? Right here. And sometimes I'll just sit, if I'm working, I still have some of these old albums I need to get through. I'll just take my new page protectors, the 12 by 12. There's no need to go searching for the old size because all you have to do is cut off a 1/2 inch on the side. So you can do that with your 12-inch trimmer, and you can do a couple at a time, so helps go a little bit faster. And just move that edge of the page protector over to the 1/2 inch mark and slide it down, and it should reach, top to bottom to just cut that little 1/2 inch off. And then these will fit your older size pages perfectly. And the closed part, just remember whenever you're cutting, you want the closed part, these two sides, to be on the edge. So you're cutting top to bottom, closed part to closed part. So that's it. Yeah. Those are the page protectors. If you have the new size album, of course, you don't have to trim this off. They work perfectly on the 12 by 12 pages. But now I have those ready to go for this album. Okay, when I'm ready to slide those on. So sometimes I'll just take a pack and cut them down to fit the old size albums, and then put those in a pile, and with a little label that says Premier size. So that can go, tuck it back there. Okay. So those are that's what the page protector looks like. Okay. TML says, I'm only on 2004 with her kids' albums, but kept up with most of the big trips. Oh, I know. I hear you. Trips are fun to scrapbook, right? Oh my gosh. Absolutely. And that's good to get those memories written down. But, just take it one day at a time. That's kind of how this whole process evolved when I was working, kind of looking through, how do I want to go back? How do I want to finish my kids' albums? How do I want to move forward, right? And really getting all of those ideas down, those thoughts down, decisions made, and then you just get to do the fun stuff like scrapbook. So make those pages happen. Okay. I'm trying to find some on this side. I want to go with some red paper. Let's see. Look into my Totally Tonals. Might have some fun red paper to pull in from the Totally Tonals pack, since this is Valentine's. And then maybe what I'll do is pull a little of the color over on this side just to tie everything together. So this was from one of the older tonal packs. And I know I mentioned before, if you're ever looking at ways to kind of go, oh, I need some, a color, don't forget your tonals, because those have great patterns. And I keep my tonals right next to my solid cardstock. So my reds are near my red Totally Tonals are near my red solid cardstock. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's just the way I like to check things out. Okay, so out of these photos, these two are very similar. So I think I like Adam better in this photo. So I'm going to take this and put it back in the folder. And like I said, the biggest change, what I'm really challenging myself to do, is in the past, I would have made a whole page out of these 3 photos. And in the past, a whole page out of these 3. but I'm challenging myself to make this more of a highlight so I can just kind of look at these in a little different way and go, these are really cute, and these are super cute too. Love this one. And I love that he and his buddy were just chatting, and then he put the little heart on his shirt there. So let's again start with trimming these down, but I've already narrowed that down a bit. And see if I can get these trimmed down to about a 4x4 would be nice if I could, yeah, squeeze them out. Let's see. Yeah. So this one, this photo here may or may not make it. We'll see what happens. And then I do like this photo a lot. And this one I'm not going to trim it down as much because it shows a little bit more of the classroom, and it also shows the bags. They all got to decorate bags and then went around. So I remember I was there, of course, because I took the pictures. So I can tell a little bit about the story, how they got to go around and then collect, you know, all the kids brought in things, and so they kind of delivered Valentines to each other. So that was kind of fun. So we can do that. And then for these, let's see, maybe this also, this might go in a peekaboo pocket since we have 4x4 peekaboos. This needs to get trimmed down. Let's trim this down to a 4.5 would be good. So it's just focusing on him. And then of course this has a whole different story because at his school he had an art and music program. So this was part of the music program where they did performances for us, and then all the parents came in and got to listen to, you know, their kids doing singing and doing different songs. So that was this experience, right? So all of these are pieces of his school, right? That what I hope, my goal is to leave those little stories that trigger his memories of this time in his life when he was doing it. So that's the idea, right? Give them those memory triggers so that they can then have something to kind of look back on and go, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that was so much fun. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to kind of go off of this photo. I'm just going to add this down, and then I'm going to trim my paper so that I just have a nice border. And I just kind of, I think I trimmed that down a little bit. I don't remember. But just working on this, again, going with blocks of color. I think that's going to end, that ends up being about 6 inches. So I'm going to, again, because my pages are shorter, only because my pages are shorter, I'm going to trim that little 1/2 inch off the edge too, because I'm going horizontally across here. So see how nice, just a nice big block of color sets the tone here. We can have a little fun with that red pattern. Let's see if I'm going to pull in some of this stripe paper as we're working too. That's kind of fun. That's going to tie it again into the whole school theme. And then I've got these photos here. I can decide how this is going to go in. And I think, again, if I put this in a peekaboo, so I have two choices. I can either take one out, right, and just tell the story with one and then do the writing, or just keep a small piece of this and do a writing, you know, tell the story. Or I can use a peekaboo pocket and keep both of these and then use the inside of that 4x4 as a place to tell the story. So choices for us, right? Okay. And you know me, I love my peekaboos. So I think I'm going to go ahead and grab a 4x4 peekaboo here. Let me grab one of those. I'm going to put these, that one, and this one. So it flips up. Did I grab the wrong side? That's not a 4x4. We all did a little bit of a panic when those 4x4s went out for a few weeks, right? But they are back. That's a 4x4. Okay. And I have not heard if the 3x4s are coming back. I sure hope they do. I don't know if anybody has heard. They said not returning, but I don't know. Maybe if people say loud enough, we want those back, we will get them back. For now, I just keep mine in my little box, my little stash. Okay. So again, having a little place here. And this one, actually, I might go up this way. And then have a space here for Valentine's. Maybe do Valentine's Day, some fun little title that way. Put in a few little hearts, and that would be really cute on this side. So basic, simple blocks, and then adding the pictures in. Here. Oh, I didn't put that down yet. Okay, so let me get this block in. So mixing events and themes, and again, focusing on the highlight is really how I want to move forward with Adam's book. Put this as a little bit off. And sometimes, yeah, I could have cut this so that it's within the red, but sometimes I like the look of, you know, kind of going outside that, or sometimes even bring this all the way up to the top. That might be kind of fun, so that it looks like it's going off the page. That's another thing I like to do, is putting that at the top of the scrapbook page. There we go. And then having a place to pop this in. And now I've got this fun area that I can do some more decorating with. I don't know that the school stuff has Valentine's in here. I like this one. Back to school and looking cool. We'll have to use that on a on a fun page with his first day pictures. That's cute. Okay, so simple, fast and easy. But basically, you know, like I said, I'll do a title here, you know, kind of finish it up, grab some, probably put some cute little Valentine something up here, but also tell the story of the performance. And then the next 2 pages, if I look at my album map, which I had right here, oh, here. So now I know I've done my miscellaneous and my Valentine. So the next thing I have to do is his birthday. Now I know I have enough photos for these 2 pages that I can do, because it's a birthday, it's a little more special. I am going to do a little more of a theme on these 2 pages. So when I have his 7th birthday here, and I made myself a note in his memorabilia that I do have his invitation, so I want to include that. And then I'll pick out the pictures from that and then do the whole 2 pages in a theme. So just because some pages, you know, I'm combining and, you know, kind of staying away from that, doesn't mean all my pages are going to be like that, of course. So birthday, let's have some fun. We'll do the birthday layout. And then when I get back into pictures that I have a lot of together, like say these, I did the play actually, my miscellaneous black and white, last days, maybe that again is where I'll cluster more. And then, focus on just kind of color rather than a theme, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to come back at you. That's a little bit of scrapping today, getting the creative side going, right? And let's see where you guys are. So let's see. Any other questions? So let's see. I saw that one. Yudi says she's organizing children's pictures. Got the sort box, yes, and one for each, which is such a good idea to have that power sort box and those dividers, and then just kind of get each kid organized in that. Yes, love it. It's such a good way to get organized. The memorabilia is an issue, right? So that was last week. We really talked about memorabilia and getting that under control, and just keep in mind saying, is it special? Is it really special? And, again, if it doesn't, just remember, we talked about a lot of different ways we can deal with memorabilia. We can take the first step and be a curator, or we can talk to whoever this album is going to and say, what do you want to keep, right? We can pick a few things that we think are special enough to go in the album. And then maybe there are other things that are also special, but they're not album worthy. And they can kind of just stay in that, whether it's a binder or a pod or a little file box, whatever works. And then it just stays there, kind of a long-term storage. And then at some point, maybe you give that little box to your child, and then they get to make the decision about that, right? So just because you say, I want to keep it, doesn't also mean that it has to go into an album. Got to remember that too. Okay. Sorry for that. Yes. Oh, and Sherry, yeah, don't stress over finding the old page protector. So if I haven't given that tip in a while, I'm glad it came up again. Super easy to do, to make your own. So glad that was an aha, definitely. Okay, Cindy said this will help with her grandson's books. Way too many pictures of her boys. I've been there too. Don't worry, been there, done that. So sorry, guys. I'm getting a little dry throat. Let me see. Do I have? Oh yeah, I have my drink. Okay, Shirley has a question. Good question. So Shirley asked, do you leave blank journal boxes spaces to let the child add their memories to pages? I was actually just looking through Instagram or somewhere, I can't remember where I was, and Allie Edwards, who I also, think she has some fantastic ideas, had a interview with a child sheet. Have you guys ever heard of that? Any of you Allie Edwards fans? It was like interview your child. Now, my child, I missed the boat. I missed the boat. What I can do is take, excuse me, writing samples and add that into their books, because I have plenty of writing samples. If I'm in the moment, like if you have your kids, I love that idea of doing a interview. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite TV show? Who's your teacher? Who are your good friends? If you guys remember, like eons ago, we had those little cards for the old school albums. And, I started with great intentions every year, having them write that out themselves, but I lost track of it. And so now I just have the samples. So if you missed out, don't feel bad. Like, I'm trying to let that go and just go, but I have really good samples, right? Because I've kept, different things throughout the years of what their handwriting looked like and how they were writing and so forth. So that's what I'm using. But in the moment, I would definitely say, yeah, have them write, pick 5 questions that you want them to, answer. And I believe Allie also hasn't heard, just Google it, like Allie Edwards interview with a child or something, and that might give you some good prompts. And I think hers is a printable, and you can add like a little photo, have them draw a picture if you want, but some really fun question prompts. And so I love that idea. If I were starting over again, there were so many things I would do different. Remember, like now they also have those cute signs where, they didn't have that when my kids were growing up, where like they go, this is, first day of kindergarten, they hold up the sign and it's like super cute. Well, I didn't have that. I have pictures of my kids in front of the door on the first day of school, but not those cute little signs. So, take the best of what you can do, whatever season you are in your life, and just run with it, embrace it, have fun with it. So definitely, yeah. I love having samples. So the bottom line, Shirley, is if you can have those samples, absolutely, it makes it so much more fun to look back on those. Carrie says she's working on Disney. I love Disney books. 2013, so fun. How young her kids were. I know, right? Oh my gosh, it goes so fast. Yeah, peekaboos. I know. I kind of have my thing about my peekaboos, Kenzie. I do. And it is fun to scrap. I agree. Like going back to my son who's in first grade and now he's, in his last years of college. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to see. And the personality is still there, right? It's fun to see that. Okay. Yeah, and the simple sleeves, I think they were supposed to be back this month, but I just looked in the newsletter and they are pushed to November. So the simple sleeves. But I do have a hack for you. I'm going to kind of, on another tidy up, go through some fun paper things that I've known. Remember, I've talked about the Mama Bear sleeves. So these are linked on my Amazon page. So it's in the more, if you click the more button. So these are really similar. You guys, I'm sorry about my dry throat. And you can see if I hold this back, maybe far enough here. So it's closed, it has a gusset. So it's very similar to a simple sleeve. And so what I did with this is what I call the Mama Bear. Now there's two kinds of Mama Bears. There's the Samsil, which is more clear. And I've gone through this too. This is the other brand, Kaydo, Caydo, I think. It has a little tab at the top, but it is closed on 3 sides. But here's what you can do. Let's see. I think I have it. Let me roll over here. I did this in Autumn Harvest. Just a quick tip. Did I do it in here? Okay, here's Autumn Harvest. And I took that, do you see it? That same sleeve. And I was thinking I need to make just a whole sheet of labels that says scraps on it. So here's that little tag. And I cut the side so it's open, just like the Power Simple sleeves. So it's closed on the bottom, closed on this side. It has that little tag that's so easy to grab and pull. But then I did cut that side off. Do you guys see the difference? So there, I just sliced it off. I even rounded the corners, guys. I took the corner rounder and just rounded those corners. And just playing with that. And so now this is where I keep my scraps in my Papa Bear in the Autumn Harvest. So this is for those bigger collections. But these will also fit. We were playing around with this yesterday. These will also fit in the Baby Bear sleeves. So you can see how that just slides right in. And again, it has the little tag right here. So you can just grab that and pull it out for your scraps. And then I'll give you a little hint. So this is also where, we've talked about keeping your finished pages. So this was a page I did with the Pop Crop at the Pop Crop. So now I have those pages ready to go, but it's with the Autumn Harvest theme. So now I'm keeping all of that in my pouch together. Okay, so Thank you for those questions. Yeah. I do my pages still in the book? Yeah, so Carrie, sometimes I do. Like you could see today, I was just scrapbooking right in the book. Sometimes I take them out. Sometimes, if I'm working with pocket pages, you don't even need to do them in the book. You can just do them, loosely. So I kind of just go back and forth. But sometimes, yeah, if that hump is bothering you, just, take it apart and do them. Just make sure that, they're all in the correct orientation. So you might want to like put a post-it or something on there for which is, which page comes next. So good questions, you guys. Yeah. Shannon says, hello. Pumpkin bread. Ooh, that sounds so good. And Laura said, it's her birthday. Happy birthday. Well, exciting. Late to the show because one of her 3 came home to help her celebrate. That is always a treat. So fun. Well, happy birthday. And I hope you all have some happy scrapping ahead. I loved hearing about your projects. So many different things you're working on. I know we were kind of focused these last few weeks on kids, but part of why I do these little mini series is that even though that's not something you may be working on right now, it's there. It will always be there, kind of hanging out on YouTube. So if you ever need to go back and go, oh, what did Lauren say about that? It's there. So now we have our wrap up of the mini series where we've, done some simple pages, really focused on getting a lot into these books. And then next week we'll be back with some just some regular tidy up Tuesday organizational things, like the little hints I was sharing with you about the paper, and then we'll move on from there. So yes, Mary says, happy birthday. So it's so good to see you all your names. Thank you again for saying hello. It always warms my heart to see you guys here. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy the content, it really makes a difference to let me know that with a thumbs up or a little heart, and always appreciate that and your comments. So thank you for those. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I will be on Friday night scrapbooking on this Friday. So if you have some time, I'd love for you to join me live at 5 p.m. Pacific on Friday. And look for a post on that soon. I'm trying to debate between 2 topics, what I will be sharing, but I do have some of the new product. It is gorgeous. Can I just say that? The new winter collection, it's gorgeous. It's really fun. And the new punch is really fun. So we might have to play with those. On Friday, I may have to just dig in and do it. So much good stuff. All right. So thank you again, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye for now.